We can play the Doors. Okay, anyway. Welcome everyone to the Beyond Bitcoin Whaletank beta. Today is Friday, July 21st, 2017. And we're joined by a bunch of people who are starting to create their own tokens in the BitShares ecosystem and utilizing those tokens to help different projects in the Steemit ecosystem and elsewhere. And they join these hangouts to talk about what they're creating, to bring up topics that they would like to consider creating, and work with the community to maybe power themselves up by giving out these tokens to the people who help them bring value. So if you can join up to these hangouts, and you can potentially get the ears and the eyeballs of a bunch of crypto nerds, you probably want to do it. But not only that, in the Whaletank hangouts, you also can potentially earn 1,000 whale shares tokens, which are 1,000 Beyond Bit tokens, which are whale shares based tokens in the Steemit ecosystem. And they're good for upvotes from my whale account that pay out and make you seen among the community. So think of it not only as a payout, but a kind of trending power up. So with that said, and because we're talking a lot about power-ups, we have the ability during these hangouts to power up, so to speak. The hangouts are going to exist they are going to run anywhere from 1 hour to 3 hours. They can go a little bit over that, but they most likely will not. Now, with that said, we will be allowing 15 minutes for every person who does join up. And then they will be able to power themselves up to provide themselves with more time in the Hangouts. That is up to 10 minutes. And by doing this, what you are going to essentially do is you will share drop tokens on the people who joined up to today's Hangout, who have a lifetime membership on BitShares. And then the people who have the tokens, if you have created a token, and you have posted that you have this token on your RSVP thread, you double your spot, the voting power. So if you have been given $5, which sets the precedence for you to be in third place, but you have a token, you now have $10, which can potentially put you into first place. This is another power up. Then we have one more power up where you can, if you think that somebody was given the tokens, I'm going to start implementing this here. If you think that somebody was given the tokens and that you would like to give me an incentive to change my mind before the payouts for the next hangout occur, you can talk about behind the scenes with me giving out some tokens to the people who signed the guest list at today's hangout. So with that said, I'm giving you incentives to give your tokens to people who care about them, who care about the BitShares ecosystem where they are created and used, and to get them into the hands of those people. In return for their help and their input on your token. Now, this is the beta of Whaletank, which means that I have not opened up the ability for other whales to create their own tokens yet. But once the Whalebot is stable and we know that the user interface makes it very difficult for people to mess up, then we will be in a place where we can open up to multiple whales. So let people know, especially in my favorite BitShares ecosystem, let people know that if they want to support things, they can create their own whale shares tokens and they can join the Whale Council here, where it all began. And I can't believe I'm saying it, but it's true. So Thank you very much, everybody, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to get started with the people who are joining up today. Of course, some of you have been upvoted higher than others, but because you do not yet have a token, I'm speaking in general here. If you don't have a token, you might be first place, and you might end up being last place on the list. Because I double the value of your post with respect to the order of projects covered if you have a token of BitShares ecosystem. So starting today is going to be hair shares. Obviously, that is a token that is on the BitShares ecosystem. Purity is going to follow that up. Next is going to be Gridcoin, followed by Ride of Passion. And then we're going to also be giving Lullaby the opportunity to talk about a cool little project that she's doing for Steam newbies and Steam Philippines. So with that said, I'll go ahead and I'll ask NepD from Hair Shares. Are you there? NepD. I will give you a whale call. I've been listening to him, actually. I shouldn't say it, should I?
Listening to the whales?
Yeah, I watched a whale documentary the other day. They're amazing. They're amazing animals, man. And I actually found myself taking note of how they do it while I listened. So, NepD, are you there? Before I get off too far on that topic. Okay, NepD is obviously stepped away. So, NepD, you are moved to the back of the line, my friend. Hopefully, you are back before that, before the end of the hangout. Purity is going to be up next. Looks like Custom Miner is going to be up next of Gridcoin.
Yep,
we have two tardy people today.
I just messaged NepD in the Discord. Maybe he'll get it. I don't know.
NepD just posted in the chat there though, so he doesn't know he was talking today.
Oh, is NepD here? Yeah. Oh, well, you posted to the RSVP post. You might have posted and forgot, and that's why you're standing here wondering what's going on. Don't worry, buddy. It happens when you're busy. Oh, you were just thanking me for winning. You're welcome. I still need to send you the tokens. You're going to get 1,000 Beyond Bits, which actually is going to be quite a bit of money. It's quite a bit of money now, but it'll be quite a bit more money, I suspect, whenever you see. Well, I would urge you to consider creating a market with them between Hair Shares and Beyond Bits and giving them out to some people so they can buy the. Yeah. No, it's cool. That's what happens, man, when we have cool tokens like this. But thank you very much. That's kind of actually like a really cool little plug for everything that we're doing. So I greatly appreciate it, brother. Okay. So thank you for clearing that up. He's not going to be covered today. He's eating breakfast with kids for all the listeners. Gridcoin, CM Steam,
216th Beyond Bitcoin Hangout. It's a great privilege. So, Gridcoin, it's a cryptocurrency which securely rewards BOINC computation on top of the proof-of-stake network consensus mechanism. So what is BOINC? BOINC is an open source volunteer distributed computing platform which utilizes the spare resources, or computer resources, on like approximately 500,000 computers in an attempt to cure diseases, map the Milky Way, search for extraterrestrial life, and any other kind of distributable computation that you can think of. So anyone that needs a serious amount of distributed computing power, think hundreds of thousands of CPU cores, pretty much for free, can create a BOINC project and ultimately end up creating their own distributed cloud service of their own desire. Fairly easy. The work's pretty much done. All you need is the work units to distribute. And the Gridcoin network will potentially reward your project's volunteers on your behalf, so you retain your user base of volunteer, workers. So that's just a background of what Gridcoin and BOINC is. I'll pretty much repeat that every time I appear on Beyond Bitcoin so that people know what it is. So we're talking about the Gridcoin community, polls within the client, some trading information, and some development information as well. So firstly, with regards to the Gridcoin community, Team Gridcoin earned over half a billion credits in one day, which is huge. It's a monumental achievement. So to put that into context, the next team on the daily output list managed only 238 million credits. So that's half of Gridcoin's output as a single team, despite the fact that Team Gridcoin only represents like 0.5% of the total active BOINC user base. So at this pace, we're on to take the first place in the all-time historical computation leaderboard in approximately 70 days. So this will have taken us about 4 years, I believe, 4 years? Yeah, 4 years to, catch up with 20 years of BOINC history in terms of computation. So we're catching up, and we're driving a lot of serious computation towards these BOINC projects, which is really cool. And it's accelerating as well, So other news, we've got the Gridcoin community has organized the printing of a physical 3D plastic Gridcoin token to commemorate the 1 millionth Gridcoin block. So users got together on Mumble, discussed what could be shown, and then other users came up with like a 3D model, and they're going ahead with it. So that's really cool. I think that'd be a pretty decent memento, especially if it's limited.
Heck yeah.
We've also continued observing a growing user base. We've seen a massive increase in BOINC stats, and the majority of Gridcoin's productivity is visible on Slack. When you join Slack, ignore the warning message on sign up. The email comes through regardless. We've also got, a Telegram group and IRC. With regards to IRC, we have received some complaints regarding, a requested increase of moderation of the IRC channel. These have been taken under advisement, and the operators in the IRC channel are discussing options. So just to let you know, if you're new to Gridcoin, I'd probably advise you join Slack or Telegram, as well as, Steemit and CryptoCoin Talk for places to talk about Gridcoin. I mean, because IRC is largely unmoderated to a certain degree, not to say that there aren't any rules, but it's just a bit of a Wild West troll box, you know what I'm saying? So go to Slack for productivity is what I'm saying.
Not the nicest place for a newbie. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it's often way off topic. So, if you join in there as a new user, you might be, threatened by the topics, So if you want to talk about Gridcoin, always, jump into Slack to go into very specific topics, and Telegram likewise is pretty chill and good. So we have continued holding Gridcoin community hangouts on a fortnightly basis. I was unable to attend the 34th hangout on the 8th of July because it was my sister's birthday weekend, which I forgot about, but I went anyways, But the Gridcoin community held the hangout without me perfectly, and I think it lasted 4 hours, which is really cool. So they got a lot of stuff done, including like the branding and the commemorative coin and stuff. Actually, I'm looking forward to listening to the hangout because it's one I didn't attend. So if the next hangout is going to be the 35th hangout on the 21st of July. So that's this Saturday at 9 p.m. British Summer Time. So currently there isn't an RSVP thread up, but that will be as soon as I've finished talking. I'll fire one up. But yeah, with regards to time zone, please use the tools provided in the RSVP post to compare to your time zone so that we don't have confusion. You don't turn up an hour early or late. It's happened in the past. So that's stuff to do with the community. Moving right on, so we get all this out of the way in my time slot even. With regards to Gridcoin polls, we've got a poll active on changing the official Gridcoin logo and branding. So currently we've got the Gridcoin logo, which is the multiple inner circles, and basically we've not had an official proper logo designed for the last 3 years. So a few users have been working away on branding, taking in a lot of input for the last month, and we've now got a poll on deciding whether or not to confirm switching. So in my RSVP post, I've already used it, as the head logo, and if you follow the link to the branding Steemit post, it's a pretty decent read. I'd appreciate input on what the potential color we should use, because I think that's still open to interpretation, but we've got down the official logo. It scales well and stuff. With regards to whitelist polls, which I mentioned the last time I was on Beyond Bitcoin Hangout, so Leiden Classic has been removed from the whitelist. I believe this was because of limiting who could register. So new users couldn't join, which kind of sucked. So potentially if they changed their, I think they did that to prevent spam accounts which are logging in or something like that, registering even. So if they change that, they might get voted back in. That'd be pretty cool. Anyways, we've got Enigma at Home. Zansons for COD and Source Finder projects are also current whitelist polls. So the only project out of those three which might not get in is the Zansons for COD, because it doesn't have SSL implemented. They're saying they are going to implement it, so maybe it'll get denied the poll, and then a couple weeks later we'll do it and it'll get accepted. But yeah, that'll be pretty cool. Vote away if within the Gridcoin client if you're interested in these projects. And the final poll.
Really quickly.
Yeah, go ahead.
Really quickly, I hate to bother you about this, but for those who aren't familiar with what Enigma at Home, Zansons for COD, and Source Finder are, do you have any a one sentence kind of, or maybe a one paragraph kind of summary?
Yeah, sure. Enigma at Home is, as it sounds, Enigma code cracking. So, we've got a bunch of leftover Enigma codes from World War II, whatever, and we're basically brute forcing them. It was removed from the whitelist because there was a period of, downtime. There was a lack of work units. The admin was AWOL for a bit, but he's back. There's new work units, so there's still messages left to crack. You could claim a part of history by being someone who cracked one of the last remaining codes. What if that's some crazy, treasure map, message or something? With regards to Zansons for COD, I believe it's a mathematical-based project. I'm not exactly sure what the calculation is, but it seems to have quite a following already within the Boink community. So, and as soon as it gets SSL, I'm voting for it to go in, And with regards to Source Finder, this is a sister project of Skynet Pogs, so it's an astronomy-based Boink project. I do believe it has a short-term lifespan, in terms of they've not got much data left to crunch, but they're looking to expand the data, so that it will have a longer lifetime. So yeah, anyone can create a poll within the Gridcoin network. I think you need 100,000 Gridcoin in order to post, but if you don't have that, anyone can do it on your behalf, pretty much.
Thank you. I just want to make it clear, this is one of those places where you can really quickly show people just how cool Gridcoin is.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I mean, Enigma's pretty dang cool, man.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you create your own Boink project, all it takes is to set it up correctly, present what you want crunched, get work units up and going, make the project reliable, then throw a poll up and people will vote on it. And as long as it's got, the basic minimum requirements to a certain degree, it's going to get voted in. And if you are a competitive cruncher, you could jump on these early Boink projects and get a large score before they are whitelisted, in a normal way to get, be first to get a massive amount of magnitude, which you're rewarded Gridcoin for, but that's a gamble.
Thank you.
Yeah. With regards to moving on, we've got trading. So in the last fortnight, Gridcoin has been trading between 2 and 4 cents, down from the average value of like 6 cents the last time I appeared on Beyond Bitcoin, which was I think 2 weeks ago now. So the primary reason for this is that Bitcoin dropped in value by like 33%. That combined with also the issues we've had regarding the super blocks, the consensus of what the BOINC statistics are that we base our rewards upon. So there's been a bit of downtime in our reward mechanism for Gridcoin. These two combinations pretty much cause panic selling and stuff like that. So it looks like it's recovering to a certain degree. It's gone from, it dropped down to a trough of 2 cents. And now it's back up to like, hovering around 4 cents. And really, who knows what the value of cryptocurrency is going to be even in a week's time, Still got the 1st of August to get past, never mind, in the future. Some other information in regards to Gridcoin, the ranking, Gridcoin is currently ranked 31st on CoinGecko.com, and when you filter CoinMarketCap by non-pre-mined / non-mineable, Gridcoin is ranked 41st, so that's pretty awesome. So, pretty much the final section I'll be talking about is with regards to Gridcoin's development. So, we've had some continued superblock downtime, in the last fortnight. I mentioned, that we had basically the last time I spoke, we had like 2 days of downtime, and, we were talking about it on there. And since then, we've had a couple instances again where the superblock hasn't been properly formed, or we've had a few days of a lack of the superblock, which is basically what we base our reward mechanism on. So there wasn't network instability, hard forks or anything like that. It was secure by proof of stake, right? But, users weren't being rewarded intermittently, basically, for their BOINC computation. So we've released free leisure updates to patch multiple superblock issues, but, we've been pretty much uncovering subsequent issues. It's like, oh, right, so if something goes wrong on the BOINC side, we have to interpret that and, stuff like that. But basically what you should know is that these issues are being actively worked on by the Gridcoin's volunteer developers. You shouldn't stop crunching because it shouldn't be too long before we've sorted all this out. So just some background information on this, the current situation we're in, right? So the current development branches, right, where developers have been working away on, are far further ahead in terms of development than the current production and even the latest leisure releases. So this is the case because a lot of the changes we've been making in the development branches have been, mandatory upgrade worthy. So we can't just release them like a leisure upgrade. We have to have like a testnet phase, a large notice period for exchanges and services, what have you. But the point is that many of the issues that are currently in the production client have been fixed but aren't live yet because they require the mandatory changes to go through. So we're currently in a bit of a gray area where we have to kind of maintain the current production environment before we have this mandatory upgrade, in which many of the issues may just completely disappear, because of the large changes we're making. So yeah, with regards to these leisure updates, recently we've had some neural network fixes, basically folder restructuring, fixing the staking inability of these superblocks, requiring a minimum project count within these superblocks. Again, we were having like 1 or 2 superblocks had, a couple of the projects out of like 25. So we've stopped that, and we've also fixed time zone sync issues and stuff. With regards to what the Gridcoin developers are working on, right, so what you can look forwards to, we've got the removal of the mandatory team requirement within the Gridcoin network. That will come after we've, upgraded the superblock mechanism when, we've got these mandatory upgrades out of the way. We've got massively reworking the superblock and BOINC statistics tracking mechanisms, just basically what I'm talking about just there with the downtime and stuff. Improving the staking, voting, and security mechanisms. with several weeks before we do some testnet phases and that. Several improved translations recently did, Chinese, and I believe next we'll be focusing on like Korean, so we can get onto the Korean exchanges and stuff. Significantly improved GUI and branding. We're talking about the changes in branding that are being voted on, which will be replicated out throughout the entire client, and that does look quite smart, like the changes that are being proposed. And you can follow pretty much all of this on GitHub. Check out the issues section where we're all talking about it, and that's everything I had to speak about today. Thanks for letting me talk. Does anyone have any questions about, Gridcoin, BOINC, cryptocurrency in general?
I was going to say I will say this. Nobody will be allowed to ask any questions now, unless you can find a way of getting them to say yes, which I always urge people to toss them a couple coins on the BitShares DEX.
Yeah, probably could. Yeah, if you reply to my RSVP post to your Gridcoin address, I'll send some GRC that way. Or even BitShares account.
Guest list today.
Feel free to go ahead and
link that I just provided in Mumble. The magic word is share drop.
You got a BitShares account I could send that GRC to, dude?
Yeah, go ahead and send it to Brownie Distro, and I'll just distribute it to everybody on the guest list.
Cool.
And then if you want, you can make a post saying that you did.
Yeah, sounds good.
And get paid for it. So it costs you nothing. Up next is going to be Forrest from, or aka Crypto Hippie from the Purity Project. Are you there, Crypto?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I want to make it clear to everybody here. He did send me a message before the hangout. I just didn't notice it because I was obviously busy with our community stuff. It's a lifetime membership.
What about a lifetime membership?
Oh, it was just a question that was asked. Okay, sorry about that. Now, Purity is going to be what the project that you're going to be talking about today, and you have some different cool things that we've talked about over the past couple weeks as well. So we might get into that, but I would like to go ahead and give you the 15 minutes to start off. I want to remind you that there will be a period of time after that 15 minutes where you can potentially pay off the people here and increase your chances of being the one who earns the 1,000 Beyond bits for this hangout. So with that said, I'll go ahead and I will step back and I'll let you step up and I'll start the timer.
All right. Well, I'm Forrest, Crypto Hippie on Mumble here, and we've been giving updates weekly on our progress here on Purity. And so for people that have missed that, what we are is we're a social activity network, and the goal is to incentivize people to be active in real human social interactions. So what we've been doing this week is looking into different ways of distributing our token here for the ICO. And if you haven't been listening to the previous weeks, we're built on Tendermint, and Tendermint Ethermint allows for Ethereum smart contracts to be run on Tendermint. So you get the benefit of smart contracts with the speed of Tendermint. And so that's where we've been really exploring that area this week. and so we've been like making a lot of different contacts throughout the different communities that we're all part of. Our whole goal here is to create communities and allow them to grow and allow them to prosper and allow them to control their community. And something that we found a lack of in other communities. And so those communities, the main one would be meetup.com. And I'm sure you guys have heard this before, but we're trying to incentivize people going and doing actual meetups and human interaction, and also incentivize the places where they're doing that. Like, say, Fuzzy, you own a bar and we hold our meetup there. Well, okay, there you go. Then you get a cut of whatever this generates, whatever the meetup generates, because you hosted the event. So we've been looking at all kinds of different technologies and ways to move forward, and still looks like we're going with Tendermint. And so on the development side of that, we have created a peer crowdfund token as a BitShares user issued asset, and that's available through us. You can contact me at cryptohippie.purity.io or info@purity.io. And we're moving forward, and I just kind of wanted to get on here and let everybody know, because we put out our AND post last week, and there were some questions about well, you guys are still working with Tendermint, and we had mentioned looking at other technologies, and I'm not saying that's out of the question, but it looks like Tendermint's going to be the fastest route for us right now. So, and give us the benefits of both running smart contracts and the speed of Tendermint. So that was that, and just kind of going to open it up for questions. We also had a art contest that we just put up, which was we saw the success of kind of the Whale Shares fan art contest, and wanted to try and see what we could come up with, and see what you guys can come up with to write your own posts about this, and we can reward you with Whale Shares, because we have those, and we would, that's what they're for, is to help create this energy that we're always talking about. So that's where we're at this week, and I don't know, from there I guess we can open it up for questions.
I have two that I typed in, but I'll go ahead and ask them if nobody else has any questions.
Okay, it looks like what kind of smart contracts will you run? So we'll run smart contracts that will allow communities to basically decide how their governance is going to play out. Say you start a community on Purity, and you want to restructure the payout structure of what your community is generating within our platform. From there you can vote on it, and the whole community votes if they want to. And all it takes is that you want to participate. But there will be Solidity contracts that are run on Tendermint, and they're calling that Ethermint. Does that answer the question?
Yes, it does. And I had one other question. Is the model going to be such where you have to use the token to create a meetup?
No, that will only be private meetups. So you can we're gonna have private meetups and public meetups, and private meetups will be like something where you're generating money from holding your meetup. We know a lot of people that like my girlfriend, for instance, makes her entire living off of running meetup groups. And so
wow, that's a pretty interesting addition to add in there. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. So she just she runs a meetup group. It's a private meetup group. They pay for it, but they pay for it monthly, and it's something that comes out of pocket. Whereas with Purity, you'll be able to earn that money and then pay for it in Pure tokens if you want a private community. If you want a public community, that's going to be free. So yeah, to answer that question, yeah, we are Silence Monster. Does anybody else have any other questions? Silence Monster. Alright, so I guess we can go into kind of where Purity, the idea came from. We saw this awesome thing happen over a year ago called Steam It, which you guys are all aware of. And we saw this semi-awesome thing with a terrible way of keeping people connected. So if you've ever used meetup.com, it's not a very pleasant experience. And we want to make meetup.com with basically with the incentives of crypto tokens. So that's kind of what we were inspired by. We all loved Steam It when we found it, and found that it was great to get on there, a blog, and be able to post and earn cryptocurrencies. And then we also thought that we saw all these communities that were popping up in different places that weren't Steam It. And like for instance, here we are on Mumble. Why wouldn't we be doing this on Steam It? Well, with Purity, we will be able to reward stuff like this, like online meetups. The one that excites me all the time, and I get really excited about, is classes, because I really think that education, if that can be rewarded in any way, then my life's work is complete if I have any hand in that. So that's kind of where we're coming at from this whole thing. So we do have like I said, a UIA that's available for purchase, and I'll post the links in here for the different tiers. One of them comes with a validator, which will be basically the witnesses for our blockchain. So you'll have the ability to, create and earn more and more and more and more tokens, depending on the blocks that you validate. So, yeah, I don't know. I guess open it up for questions if anybody has anything or wants to know anything about where we're headed and where we came from.
Manish123 asks, you pre-schedule the meetup you preset the meetup schedule?
Sorry, you cut out.
Never mind. It looks like Manish's question has been answered. However, G-Chicken has a question. How do you issue validators?
So right now we've been selling them. So they were originally going for the price of 5 Bitcoin. As we all know, the price of Bitcoin has been going upwards and then down and back up again, and so it's kind of tough to put a Bitcoin value on it. So right now we're saying that they're going for $8,500. But
how many have you sold?
What's that?
How many have you sold?
Oh, right now I believe we have, we're gonna launch with 30, and we have about 10. No, we have 9 left right now because we just sold one yesterday.
So it's like the period in time when you can get one is
it's ticking to get a part of that.
And then, sorry I didn't mean to interrupt you because you were bringing up a very good point about with the ICO, if you're buying into this ICO in here to get that validator, that's a possibility too.
Yeah, and I want to make it clear too that this particular user issued asset that we've made is just for the Beyond Bitcoin community. We're not really selling it outside of that. Outside of that, we looked into some other options, and I can't really say much about that right now. But for you guys, you guys have been here from the beginning and listening to me ramble from the beginning, so we wanted to offer you something that was could reward you in the future and could be very helpful to your situation or your community's situation.
Okay, there's a couple more questions by G-Chicken here. How do you deliver them? If I buy one, what's involved in setting up my purchased validator?
So once you have a purchased validator, when our blockchain is, obviously you could hook up to it today, and you'll be basically renting server space to run this validator on, or hosting your own server, and from there you have keys that allow you to stake tokens, and works very much like any other proof of stake mining situation. So we issue them based off of how we sell them, and we issue the keys based off of who buys them.
All right. Well, sorry, I cannot get to the ELI5 for a validator unless you decide to power up to boost through the wall that I just put in front of you. An easy way of doing this is to distribute tokens of some sort to the people who join these hangouts. But I leave the option open for you to bring other value propositions as well. If not, you're more than welcome to wait until next week and answer any questions after that.
Yeah, just because this is a team decision to make to just issue tokens, and I always advocate for it, but yeah, I'd say sign the guest list and we will send, I'll send y'all something.
Well, thank you very much. How would you like me to start? Would you like me to go ahead and start on the ELI 5 question, and then we go to that one, and then there's actually two more after that. And I think that would be 5 minutes.
Hello guys, I'm Patalincho. You can call me short Pat or Pate, as is comfortable for you. Today I represent the Whale Shares community, and if you have any question, feel free to ask.
Well, I'll say this, Patalinko. I'm glad that you guys are here as a whale rep to kind of show what the whale reps will be doing. You're kind of a special whale rep because you're over a community of damn near 1,500 people now. And it doesn't seem like it's slowing down too much with how many people are joining every day since we launched it. You're right there with the entire community while I'm always talking about stuff behind the scenes. But I do appreciate you guys, and I want to let everybody know that if you have a project, Patalinko as a whale rep is overseeing some really competent people in the ecosystem. So if you need people to write things about what's going on and try to rally the community around your project, she might be a person who can help you with that. And she also has access to whale shares to give away to people who are attending these hangouts. So with that said, I just want to let everybody know that this is kind of the very beginnings where we just show you guys the basics of this. And it's going to start growing as, of course, as we iterate and as we improve and as we bring on more people, because it becomes easier. You're going to see this kind of replicated with different whales and different people who are given whale power, essentially. So consider, if you know somebody in the BitShares and Steam ecosystems, or people who hold a lot of Steam power, who are interested in helping BitShares and Steam to create this amazing synergy, please make sure that you reach out to those people and let them know of the opportunity that stands here. Imagine what will happen to the audience in here when there's 7 million Steam power worth of whaleboat tokens in here. And they might give you tokens if you give the guests here and the attendees some of your tokens. Just start thinking about how that's going to grow. And if you want to be part of that, it's a good time to start out. So with that said, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to say thank you, Patalinko, for stepping up. And of course, feel free if you ever have any questions about a project, you're more than welcome to speak up. Next is going to be Rite of Passion, and he's going to be talking Rite of Passion. Are you available?
Yes, I'm available.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cue the 15 minutes for you. And I thank you for taking the time today.
Thank you first for the opportunity. Guys, hi, it's Ride of Passion here with the new project called as Voice of Streamit. Voice of Streamit is the name that we have given to the project. As to why it is Voice of Streamit, I'll come back to it later. This is with reference to the future scalability of the project. We want this to be the Voice of Streamit. And going forward, the first awareness drive that we are driving under Voice of Streamit would be suicide awareness campaign. This is something that touches most of us. This is something that is that touches most of us on a personal level. Though the backend is a crypto-driven project, the front end is a more of a social cause, and we wanted to address this because in our life we would have come across someone or the other, our friends or relatives or our well-wishers who have gone through this phase of life called as depression. Depression is that phase of life wherein you are suffering in silence, and some of us are fortunate enough to find the right ones next to us while we are under depression. Well, there are many who are not fortunate enough to find the right people, and those people suffer in silence alone. And this is something very terrible because those lives which are under depression are mostly innocent lives who tend to give up to the pressures of the society or the surroundings. So we wanted to provide a platform. What happens is when they keep suffering in silence, there comes a point of saturation where they can't take it any further on them. So that is when they give up their hopes of life and take their lives from their own hands. And that is something very terrible because human life is very precious, and we wanted to make them understand that there is something more to it. There is something that they can see when they come out of this state. So suicide awareness campaign is that campaign which will address such people who are in the state of depression by giving them the hope, saying that they are not alone in this fight, we are there for them. And to start off with, let me introduce you the project, how it is being executed, what is the plan of execution, how do we want to take it forward from here, what are the future plans of expansion, whether do we want to stick with the suicide awareness camp and stop it there, or we want to scale it to different issues that the society is facing. And then I'll come to the voice of Stream It, what the name of the project. Basically, suicide awareness campaign has three main subjects. One is the person who's still suffering and who doesn't have anyone to share his sorrows with, right? And the second one is the survivor, the person who has survived all this and is still he has come out of the depressions to lead a healthy mindset or a healthy mental health. And the third one is the core team. Core team is someone who will be dealing with curating these people or counseling these people or hearing out these people, give them their 2 cents as to what they can do to come out of it. I'll be introducing you with each character or each part of the project in detail now. First part is the person who is suffering in silence. That is, there are many around us. I mean, they don't want to come out of their feelings only because of being judged, only because of the fear of being judged by the others in the society. These people will never have someone who doesn't have someone who to share their feelings. They don't even come out of them, and they keep suffering. One at some point in time, it reaches a saturation wherein they commit that extreme step. So this is the first stage of the project wherein we invite out the entries, and all this will be totally anonymous. There will not be anything that will be given out, and we have strict plans for maintaining the anonymity of the speaker or the person who's telling out his story. Once a person tells his story and write to us his story in detail, we will remodify it in our own language so that there is no trail of evidence or trail of link to that particular person back, so that he is not bullied in future. So once that is done, we will be posting it. I'll be posting it from my account, and we will be using our tokens to give it the pump or give it the exposure that is required. And then once that is done, they will be getting the share of the what the post earns, and in turn, this is something only the monetary part, but we need to help them to come out of their present situation. So we will be organizing sessions on Mumble or Discord with the people who will be willing to share their story. See, Streamit is a wonderful platform wherein you have lots of beautiful people who are ready to do some amazing works. And once this story of a person goes out, there will be many who would want to connect with him, talk to him, and resolve his issues. And we will be bringing him such like-minded people to come out and talk to this guy. And all this will be maintained while still hiding the identity of the person who is telling his story. This is something we want to do it from our end so that there is a help that is sent out to that person, not just the monetary thing. Monetary thing is always there. Yes, you give out some share of the post or whatever tokens that is there, yes, but it has to go further than that, and we will be giving out the professional. There are few people. I'll introduce you to the core team to start off with, that we are starting off with, and then we will slowly be recruiting more people. So this is the first part of the project, wherein a person who is suffering in silence comes out to us. He'll publish his story through us with a total identity. Then he'll be rewarded for what he has done. And then the main part is he'll be given a professional counseling or people who are ready to hear him out and support him in this phase. So that is the first step of the project that is being addressed. Second part of the project is the person who has already survived depression, who can serve as an example for others to come out by telling his story. For example, even I have suffered depression, if not to a very extreme extent, but yes, I have, and most of you would have. But then, once you share your story, there are people who are with the similar stories who relate with you. So once your story goes across, there may be many who would be interested to meet you or talk to you to know how you got out of it, and you will be there for them to come out of their situation. So these people are the ones who will serve as the examples, who will be an excellent counselor. If not a professional counselor, yes, he would share his thoughts with them because he would have gone through the same phase in life. So this is the second part of the project. So the third part of the project, and a very strong part, is something who will maintain all this, who will overlook all this, all the things, so that we don't get any kind of mishappenings with the project. So we have a strong team for now. I'll be leading the project, and we have a consultant editor who is a long time survivor of psych and neuro problems, and he is someone who was under 20 years of depression and then came out of it using the natural way to cure himself, to get out of his depression, and now he's doing really good. Then there is one more person who is into psychology, and he's a motivational speaker. He doesn't want his identity to be revealed, and you can see his avatar. I'll just go ahead and post the link to my project plan. And yeah, his streamit name is Motion Emotion, and he's a psychology enthusiast and a motivational speaker. We will be forming a core team along with one more person who is a psychology student who wants to join the project for the mere sake of the motto that it has been driven with. So execution plan is pretty simple. As I said, the people will write to us about their stories through an email or a Discord channel. I'll be receiving them and reframing the sentences so that the language trail of a speaker is not given out. Then we will be posting it to a central account. Whatever the money the central account makes will be given out to will be shared with the speaker whose the city. And then we will also be inviting out, as and when we go, the project grows, and we will be inviting out many people to join us based on their credibility, whether they can add value to the project. And then we will also be expanding the team of the core members, wherein only the people who can strongly relate to this subject will be included. Okay, now am I audible? Okay, I think so. Then, as far as the rewards is concerned, we will be giving out the tokens which will be generating it. But for the initial phase, I request Fuzzy's help in pumping the project for the initial phase, because we are all new here. We are not too old with this team. So any help in this case will be highly appreciated. And then whatever is the privacy level that is expected, we have even plans to go and modulate the voice for the speakers if they want their voice also to be hidden. So we have all the system in place. And we coming to the future part, I still have 5 minutes left. First, I think, if I'm not wrong, let me take this 5 minutes to explain the future aspects of the project. See, we want to see Voice of Steemit as that platform which is for the suppressed voices. It is not just suicide awareness campaign. Okay, people shouldn't remember Voice of Steemit as someone who came, who addressed people with the depression, came out and did some good work and went. No, as we go along, we want to expand this project to various other social, cultural, political issues where the people want to speak up but their voice is suppressed. For example, if it's a political situation in a country and if you speak up, you will automatically be suppressed because of few powerful people around. But this is a platform where you can tell that story. Then there are few countries wherein coming out as an LGBT member is still frowned upon. For example, many Islamic countries or countries here, so it's difficult for them when it comes to cultural or social issues. Such issues will be addressed in going forward. So we want to see this as an overall fully fledged huge project for those suppressed. People who want to see or want to hear untold stories should come to Voice of Stream It to get it firsthand. So this is our future plans. As we go along, we want to scale it in such a way that this is a quality driven project. So this is pretty much how we want to do it, and I hope I made myself clear. I still have 3 or 4 minutes left. I'm open to I'm open to answering any kind of questions that you want to ask.
I will say, personally, one thing that I'm thinking here is you guys are going to have it where people send to an email address, right? And then they're going to be able to be anonymous, and there will be a potential like a hangout to talk about it. I would say that personally, from at least from where I live, like the country that I live in, and where Steemit is largely based out of, from a patient's perspective, or the perspective of somebody who is depressed and looking for somebody to talk to, it might be worth it to at the very least have something telling them that this is for the cause of making people aware of it and not for counseling directly. That would be one piece of input that I would give. And then I would also say, I think that I really like the focus on other people who've survived somebody who's passed away, who's taken their lives, because that's something that you guys, I think, could cover a lot of and not have as many legal hurdles that also might in many ways be something that is as valuable, if not more valuable, for somebody who's suffering depression to hear, and who's thinking about that as an option, to hear, from the people who are surviving, a relative who's hurt or a friend who's hurt themselves and taken their lives. Those two things are what come to my mind. Another one is rewarded in Voice of Steemit tokens. And when I look at the post, it doesn't tell me exactly all the details, so I assume that you guys haven't fleshed out all of that yet. Is that correct?
Exactly. The first two questions will be addressed. Actually, we wanted the curators to be one from the surviving family of a suicide victim, and then we wanted the professionals who are into psychology and philosophy. We will address the issues so that we include more such people to give them the family aspect of it, the friendship or the relatives aspect of it. That will be addressed. Am I audible? Yeah, I'm audible. And then what Manish is asking, you are completely giving anonymity to the victim. Do you think they would want to write you if they see at the stage of depression, all they want is someone to share their feelings with, and they don't share only because of the fear of being judged. And now that they have a hope, they would definitely want to do something because they will not be their identity will not be revealed. And as far as the transfer of tokens is concerned, it's in a blockchain and totally out to the public. So we have to work a way out so that the anonymity is maintained there as well. So I would need your advice as to how do I go about it, and I'll build upon that advice.
Patalinko, do you have anything that you'd like to say?
No, I like the project. I already have said this, so I think they will build up better next time.
Do you have any insights that you think might be valuable for how whale shares might help them?
Yeah,
Go ahead. I'll give you 30 seconds.
Yeah, pretty much they okay. I understand the point with helping the people and the charity part, because I'm also much into the charity. But the point is why the people will buy these coins and keep them to reward the stories. You understand my point?
Yes, see, there are people who are interested in psychology or motivation, or who are interested in such diverse topics. They would want to be here for the sheer education they will get out of it. There will be diverse form of topics that will be discussed, and they would want to hear for the sheer information that they get out of it. So in future there are issues that we will be dealing with, the socio cultural issues or the political issues, and we that is something wherein people would want to put their money on, because most of their voices will be speaking out, and this is the basic plan as to how we want to go about in the future. So going on a bigger scale, as we progress, the tokens keep adding the value on for the different kinds of diverse topics it is addressing, because most of us are suppressed with speaking, and when there is a platform wherein many people whose voice were suppressed are speaking, we would want to be a part of that.
Okay, this sounds great.
So I just want to make it clear, this is a topic that I think is very important regardless. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to give everybody here 10 Beyond bits just for being here, and signing that guest book with the right magic word. So go ahead and feel free to talk for another 4 minutes here. But what I will say is that I think that it's very important that you consider, and I think that you said this, but if you're putting things into Steam Power for that token, because then over time you'll notice that token becomes kind of a currency for you, and you'll be like, oh, I'm not poor after all. I'm just leveraging my Steam Power to create a currency that I can use to help people. So I would advise personally, if for anybody who's got that model, first off, I would seek out people who are looking for, who've dealt with people who've harmed themselves or taken their lives, and I would also try to make sure that you power up.
Sure. See, this is something that I'm doing out of my heart, and I lost a friend to this, and I don't want to lose other friends to it. And whatever is the earning, we will put it back to the system to elevate the value of the tokens that we generate. And it's kind of a win-win situation wherein the token value increases for us, and the people who are associating with the tokens can use it for a higher upward. And I totally respect that. And as far as I want to add 2 more cents to the privacy level that we are considering, there is something called as Privnode, privnote.com, if I'm not wrong. So that gives a total anonymity of the exchange of a story, in which a person can read the story only once, and then for the hangouts, a stream of voice structure can also serve as an evidence which will loop back to the person. So in order to remove that spectral signature of the voice, we are considering using many softwares for either on Skype or Discord. We have voice distortion softwares for Discord as well, wherein a person's voice is rendered as a robotic voice. So we are considering the level of anonymity to that extent. And as far as the reaching of project is concerned, even a project, yesterday I posted my project plan. Even without a whale vote or anything, you can see the comments on the project. People instantly get associated with it because there are many with knowingly or unknowingly under depression, or they know someone who is into it. So we wanted to be that platform. Going forward, we will be fighting for many political issues, many socio-cultural issues, and we wanted this to be the voice of Stream It. So that is where the project main name comes from. So it shouldn't be restricted only for suicide. Yes, this is the starting drive that we want to do, and we wanted to do this very effectively. But as we go on, we will be prospering with many other socio-cultural and political issues.
Oh, so you're going to branch out into different coins, or?
No, it is the voice of Steemit coin. It will be one coin, but the issues that it is dealing with will be it will be diversing out.
Interesting. There's only 45 seconds left. I will personally
I'll give you an
say.
example of a political scenario or a socio-cultural scenario. For my country, India,
Well,
political
you
scenario
have
is
time.
very
You have
bad.
about 30
If you want to
seconds.
speak against a politician or something, your voice will be suppressed by the sheer power of the politician. In our country, we can't speak about the LGBT. The people from that community cannot speak. So this will be an voice. This is an example for such issues that I want to come up with.
Interesting. Okay. So political issues that are connected to potentially like things like mental health.
Yes, so political issues concerning with the mental health and also the social situation of a particular condition, a particular nation, or their present crisis in that particular nation. It is basically the voice of suppressed. If your voice is suppressed, come over here and speak about it.
Fair enough. Well, thank you for taking the time today. And I really am glad that there are people who are working on this type of stuff. I do have reservations always about certain aspects of these ideas, as you know, the first iterations of them. But I think that you guys are making steps forward from what I talked about last time with you. I'm not by any means an expert on it, but I spent about 10 years in that space. So I've got enough knowledge that I think that there's things that in the United States there are definitely things to consider. But regardless, it's always great to see projects that are looking at social change and helping. And if you guys are giving back for that purpose too, then that's even better, right? So thank you. How do people reach out to you if they would like to?
See, we will be giving them specific instructions as far as our Discord channel is concerned or our private email is concerned. If they still want the secrecy, we will be giving them the private note ID, wherein if they post their story, only one person can read it, and that's it. After that, the story collapses, and we will be giving out a detailed post about it in a very short period of time.
About thank you very much. She's running on Steam. Next up is going for Steam Newbies and Steam Philippines. Are you able to talk right now? Lullaby, do you have your mic set up? I saw your lips go red. Now you got yourself muted. Cute. I'll use this point in time to let everybody know while we're doing this here and while everybody's recording. We are going to start open sourcing these Hangouts. And what I mean by that is I'm going to be crowdsourcing the people who join up and add different cover art to the Hangouts, different introductions and outros. I'm just going to start having competitions like this. So if you know people who might be interested in earning quite a large number of whale shares or Beyond Bit tokens, it might be a good idea to let them know, because these Beyond Bit tokens, even at current market cap that is slightly suppressed, the upvotes from this account, from my biggest account, is still worth about $70. So 100 of these tokens, each worth 1% upvote, is 70 cents each. So they do have value and can give out a decent number of them every week as long as people are using them, and using them on projects like all of you. And if you support all these projects that are using them, you're just giving more steam power to us to continue building what we're building. And we're building a lot. So I'll go ahead and I'm going to stop for 1 second and listen and read something that somebody's posting here. Manish asked, I am entering the logo contest, but I will be sketching in first and converting it into digital artist. That is fine. I just prefer that people, I want people to put the Beyond Bitcoin logo in there somewhere for Beyond Bits.
Hello.
We've got you.
Oh, there it is. Okay. Okay then. Hi everyone. I'm Abby. So it's actually Love Abby. I work as an IT consultant for a US-based company. So I'm not on Steemit full-time. I'm also a mommy blogger on loveabby.com and on Steemit. So currently we're organizing a meetup for Filipinos on Steemit because it's a growing community. Currently we have our numbers at 200. And there's a need for mentoring these new bloggers that are seeking guidance. So while connecting with some members of the community, both here and abroad, we decided to market the next meetups of the community to better advertise the Steemit blogging community and promote cryptocurrency locally as a form of viable currency. Because right now it's not that well known here in the Philippines. So our mission, we actually created our mission statement yesterday. Also, it's called Steemit PH. It's a nonprofit, non-stock, autonomous organization whose mission is to promote the Steemit blogging platform and the blockchain behind it through charity work. So our goal is to create events for Steemit bloggers wherein we help homes for abandoned children and the elderly, and probably include schools there, donate books to indigenous people or tribes in the Philippines. So there's a post about it done by this guy called TJ Pezlo. And the succeeding meetups of Steemit Team PH will promote Steemit locally and create a positive image of the Steemit blogging community as we reach out to local media outlets, both print, web, and television. So we plan to involve the media in our next meetups, and we plan to make it bigger. So in turn, people will hear about Steemit, will learn about BitShares or cryptocurrency, and so the vision is to grow the Filipino Steemit blogging community through positive messaging and empowerment. And I was actually supposed to make a coin, but I didn't have enough BTS to create it. So we conceptualized this coin. It's called Love Shares that will be distributed as a token on Steemit platform to the members of Steemit Team PH as an incentive for volunteering and attending the meetups. So what will happen is when there's a new Filipino blogger, we'll engage them, have them become a member of this community while promoting a positive message of Steemit, and this will help control membership to legitimate bloggers that have integrity and will not abuse the Steemit platform. So currently, the projects in our pipeline are to print out shirts for volunteers. So we have a graphic design artist working on that. He's called Devery. The next thing is to contact the schools or homes for kids or elderly that accept visits. And another thing
Buzz new.
is
No. Buzz new. Lol.
okay. Another thing is me and this graphic artist plan to create a Steemit help wiki for newbies, because on Facebook we get so many questions that we answer one by one. So we want them to have a page where they get these questions answered themselves. So like a search wiki page for newbies to minimize the learning curve for cryptocurrency and Steemit itself. So that's it. Do you guys have any questions or suggestions? Very welcome.
I do have. I have one question that I'll bring up, but I will also say that to prepare on these Hangouts, having a headset plugged in helps significantly. But with that said, I did have one question, and that was about you guys are having these Hangouts. So is there going to be a value proposition that you're going to be trying to bring to the people who are running these Hangouts? Are you going to be using whale shares and beyond bits or something to that effect? Or how is that going to work? And let me unmute you.
Okay, so the concept of the love shares, or it's actually like copying what Whale Shares is doing. We'll distribute it to the members who volunteer and become a member of the Steemit blogging community here in the Philippines. So it's like controlling membership and at the same time giving value to those people in the form of these tokens, because they can use it to upvote themselves as well. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, I just have to try to mute you before I speak up. Sorry about that. Now, I know that I gave you some tokens that you were planning on using. Have you considered opening up maybe a market for them and utilizing, because I noticed that you also, you are referring to my account whenever you refer people. So maybe even have a referral account that is for the Philippines. Are you familiar with how, oh my gosh, my apologies.
Okay. So you mean like a flagship account? That's we'll create another account that will be all about this project. We're considering it, but right now we're at the point where we just want to get all our ideas in one page, because actually this idea didn't involve whale shares before. It was just us discussing how we want to use Steem and these Filipinos who are all over the world working that want to give back to the Philippines. So they were thinking of donating their Steem to us, because we're based here in the Philippines right now. We're in Manila. And they asked us if we can create these projects wherein we use that Steem to buy books or notebooks, or go to homes for the elderly and donate, I don't know, like diapers or food. And in that sense, they're using their Steem for something positive. So that was how the project first conceptualized. We were going to use the Steem we have that we earn from the platform to push it forward, basically. So sorry, did I address that right? Or you can ask me the question again.
No, you did. And then it takes me just a moment to mute you every time, because you don't have something called push to talk enabled. So now that you're talking, it's open the entire time, so the background comes in, included with your voice. But if you're not talking, we hear quite a bit of background noise, but that's okay for right now. We will start to have people have to get headphones in and stuff. That time's not quite yet. But with that said, does anybody else have any questions or comments that they'd like to bring up before I dig into it deeper?
Yeah, I want to ask, it will be only Philippine community, or with the charity you take more like all over around the world. STEAMIT is international.
Yeah, right now, I told them we need to start small and get like a proof of concept that the project works and it's not going to be abused. So the idea is to start small first in these schools and locally, and then eventually we can partner with people from all over the world who want to volunteer also. But I think we'll need like project heads in those areas who also know how to market and create events like these.
Did that answer your question, Padalenko, or do you have any other ones?
No, so far is good.
I will say that I will ask you, Lullaby, have you reached out to any of the whales in the ecosystem and talked to them and asked them about supporting something like this as well? Because I don't think it will require too much. I don't mind distributing a little bit to projects like this, especially stuff that's in the Philippines, because, well, for multiple reasons, but one of the big ones is that locations like the Philippines, the money that we do spend goes a lot further, and it can help a lot more people and bring a lot more people on in time. So it might not be a bad choice to support that. Now, have you heard anything from or reached out to any of the other whales in the ecosystem and heard anything back from them?
Yeah. That's one of the in the pipeline, but right now we just want to create a successful project before reaching out to whales, just to get the word out that it's something that can be done through STEAM and something that we can control so that it's not abused. So we wanted to get a concrete project out first with like photos and participation. I mean, like participation in the sense that we're 200 right now. So the target in the next meetup that we're doing in August 5 is actually 100, but we're not near that number yet. So we want to reach that number before getting the word out about it to media and to the whales.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It makes a lot of sense. That's kind of, if you've noticed, how we've done it with whale shares too, where we've opened up a second token, and now we're starting to say, we can open it up to a few people that I know and trust for a little bit, for a live beta that is a closed beta rather. But at the same time, it's open for everybody to use the coins, just kind of a closed beta for the whales. So we can kind of confront the issues that we will run into and then figure those things out. And once we have a little bit more stable version that everything is working as it should, we can approach a lot more people. So I very much agree with strategy for obvious reasons.
Yes, I think that's the only way to go here. I'm glad you agree.
Does anybody have any questions or comments before I say anything else? I'll really quickly say that you should talk to Surpassing Google and Emerge. Both of them are in the Philippines, and one of those people, they both are very valuable for this type of project, but one of them has a connection with somebody who, I think it's like coinpayments.ph, where essentially they could accept Steam dollars and would make it so you could literally start after you have this minimum viable product to show people this use case that makes sense. You might even start being able to get people who own businesses on board to accept Steam dollars and things. But that's a little bit further down the pipeline, like you said. But definitely worth it to reach out to them. Now, does anybody have any questions or comments that they'd like to bring up? They've got about 20 seconds. If not, I'll go ahead and I'll say, Lullaby, feel free to let people know how they can get in touch with you if they want to support you and work with this project, or if they have any deeper questions that maybe weren't answered for them this week.
Okay, sure thing. I haven't made a post about this because we're waiting for the August 5 meetup, because that's like our kickoff for this thing. We're gonna announce it to the Filipino bloggers and get their buy-in and see that they agree to this project and mission and vision. So we'll let you know very soon. Thanks everyone for listening.
And thank you for joining up. And because, if anybody's wondering, because she doesn't have a token yet, there's obviously no deals that can be struck to give you guys tokens. So obviously that's something that will need to be worked on. And Love Abby, I will work with you on that behind the scenes when I get the time. Now, with that said, I want to let everybody know, I want to give everybody first off a big thank you for joining these Hangouts. And I also want to let everybody know that I'm starting to do something slightly different with the way that our Hangouts are going to be posted. I'm going to start opening it up for people to edit our Hangouts and post them with an intro and an outro under a SoundCloud account of their choosing. And if the one that I like the most every week, I will post to the SoundCloud account for Beyond Bitcoin by the end of the week. And I will be giving out Beyond Bit tokens to the people who edit the content and post it. And I will be making a post about the giving out of these tokens and the rewards for these tokens every week. So be on the lookout for the posts for our audio intros and our editing competitions. Also be on the lookout for our logo competitions, because we will be doing many of those, and we will have other such competitions like meme competitions and other things in the future. But for right now, with our tokens and our token supply and our other projects that we're working on, those will be the foundational elements used to move forward. So with that said, thank you for joining up every week, and we'll see you next week. Talk to you soon.